G'day, Paul here, sitting out in the shed and bringing you a word today from 2 Corinthians 12. It's about St. Paul, who was given a thorn in his side, a messenger from Satan to keep him humble. And I wonder if you've ever had any difficulty, if you've been insulted, had trouble, been persecuted, if you've had anything that just wouldn't leave you. Well, a friend of mine is currently experiencing a serious attack of depression, and I've been looking at all of these things, and I'm not saying his is related to Paul's, but he certainly is troubled, and he's asking the Lord to free him from his dark shadows and dark times. But this reading might help to clarify for some why we end up with difficulties. So I'm reading from verse 6, 2 Corinthians 12 verse 6. For even if I wish to boast, Paul says, I will not be a fool, for I would be telling the truth, but I refrain from this, so that no one may regard me beyond what he sees in me or what he hears from me, even because of the extraordinary character of the revelations. Therefore, so that I would not become arrogant, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to trouble me, so that I would not become arrogant. So that's interesting, isn't it? He's saying he's been kept humble by a messenger from Satan, a thorn in his flesh, and he doesn't actually explain what it is. And there's been several speculations about it, but we don't really know what it is. It could be any sort of difficulty. Verse 8, he says, I asked the Lord 3 times about this, and that it would depart from me. But he said to me, my grace is enough for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So then I will boast most gladly about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may reside in me. Therefore I am content with weaknesses, with insults, with troubles, with persecutions, and with difficulties, for the sake of Christ. For whenever I am weak, then I am strong. So there he is. He's been given this messenger of Satan, this thorn in his flesh, keeps troubling him, and he's asked the Lord 3 times to take it from him, and the Lord has not taken it from him. So for the first 2 times he's asked the Lord, he's saying, Lord, take this pain, this difficulty, this circumstance out of my life. And there's been silence. Nothing. No answer to his prayer. And on the 3rd time he hears the Lord saying that he's given him this to make him humble, to keep him humble, because when he is weak, he is strong. He says, my grace, the Lord told him, my grace is sufficient for you. That's all you need. And that's what all of us need, the grace of God. So if we're going through difficulties, if we're going through persecution, if we're going through insults, if we're going through pain, if it's a literal thorn in your side, if you're going through pain, then remember this. Jesus says his grace is sufficient for us. And so that's something we can hang on to. If you're going through a hard time, just know this. If God hasn't taken it from you, remember his grace is sufficient for you. And he'll help you get through it. He will not give you things beyond what you can cope with, but he will help you get through, and he'll keep you humble. The Lord resists the proud, but supports the humble, gives grace to the humble. And it's that grace that will be sufficient for us. So there's our Bible reading today from 2 Corinthians 12, from verse 6 down to verse 10. His grace is sufficient for us, and we will boast in our weaknesses rather than boast in our strength. For in our weaknesses, His strength is made perfect. Have a good day. Get into His Word and let His Word get into you. See you later now. Goodbye.